DPS has already left this site and is oppressing another site right now, scaring them. What's called voluntary compliance is when you bully people and scare them out of their place where they're trying to survive, and they're not offering any shelter. Yeah, so you can go to the cold weather shelters with the city at night when it's 37, 35 degrees or below, something like that. That's FEMA money, so the city actually makes a profit off that, I believe. That's just ways that the more people that show up, the more money they can get, but they get a FEMA grants and whatnot. But they're not really concerned with people living, because the state is over here, another arm of the government is over here oppressing and sweeping camps. This is where Weatho and Weatho is a trans what I call it, Latinx or indigenous, possibly trans person over here that I met. We had it on one of the videos previously a few months ago, where, you know, DPS or the city came through right before we got there and took everything he owned, everything she owned. They said that we could call him he or she, doesn't matter to Weatho, depending on how you perceive them, they said. So you can call him a he if he looks like a he to you, or call him a she if he looks like a she to you, that's fine. But Weatho was mentioning a veteran that was down there. I think his name was John. He lived down here also, way back under this bridge where nobody can see. The police told them to get out of sight, out of mind, but that the police won't leave them alone, even when it's freezing, even when people are dying out here in the freeze, suffering out here. The city and the state has billions of dollars that they spend targeting, having meetings about, strategizing how to displace people, how to murder people, how to destroy people's lives. But they don't have, and they have money for Christmas trees and parties and P. Diddy parties, whatever, goats, you name it. They got money for everything, but they don't have money, billboards, signage, fences under bridges. There's a fence over here. We'll show you, probably $1 million fence, knowing the government. It's, I don't know if you can even see it over there. Let's see, where can it be seen? Where's the end of it? Let's see here. Right in here, there's a fence. Across the street, way across the street. Oh, yeah, there, sideways a little bit. There we go. And they spent a lot of money with the permanent chain link fence that's 6 foot high with Constantine wire, I believe, or barbed wire, one of the two, at the top to keep people out of this area where people used to be able to camp and get out of the weather, get out of the extreme heat, get out of the cold, the rain, the snow. People died in the freeze apocalypse. The media didn't cover that. They were saying the struggle's real when people in their houses lost water. They didn't know how to flush their toilets when there was snow on the ground. There was literally water outside their door, and the media was saying how the struggle is real here and whatever, Austin, this blah, 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 blah. The struggle is real when it's real. When people are dying out here on the streets, the struggle is real. And that's the exact story that none of the other media outlets are telling you right now. And, I'm extremely busy suing the city right now, so I don't have a whole lot of time to be out here. And apparently nobody else feels strongly enough about the city and the state, the people who are displaced, the underdog, to monitor the government's activities. See if we can get this any closer. Anyway, so there's crews out here. They're deep up back in there probably, or they're having lunch in their cars. They're doing some. Oh, I see. They're all in their trucks down there, I think. There may be crew members. So there's supervisors that just sit around. Then you've got another crew that does like, you got a guy that runs the dump truck. You got guys that run the skid loaders, which are like little bulldozers to bulldoze people's camps and their belongings, their tents, their sleeping bags, their clothing, their dog food, their pictures of their children, their medications. In one case, there was a man who had an urn with this, I think it was his father that was in an urn, that he had to pay like thousands of dollars to have the urn and to have his dad cremated. And that's all he had, connecting him to his dad, and the city stole it. They put it in the dump. They put all his stuff in the landfill, causing our landfills to grow and grow, and stealing people's stuff, which is a crime. Making people want to die, making people want to do bad things, all sorts of bad things. The trauma that it causes is just as bad as any war in a third world country. The trauma that the city that the government you're supposed to trust, that you pay taxes to and all that, when they come after your stuff, and this is going to happen more and more to people in other socioeconomic classes, not just whatever they allow to one of us, they allow to all of us. When they make it legal to do this stuff, or they do it as if it's legal, then it becomes legal for them to do it to all of us. And you don't understand that. You guys just... You need to understand that these people are human beings just like you. They're Americans, and they have the same rights as all of us. So they have the same right of property rights. They have the same right of get a warrant. You can't come into my tent without a warrant. They have the same rights. The cops are slashing people's tents with knives. I know APD for sure. Cops are bullying women and veterans and elders and disabled. There's a ton of us disabled people. This is actually a disability rights issue, because a lot of disabled people, mentally ill, other problems, are pushed out on the streets because of bills, from medical bills and from the rising cost of living, and the system has holes in it, so not everybody lands on disability. Disability will deny it. The government, if you're trying to get resources from the government, you have to be denied multiple times. You have to hire an attorney. That's standard. Everyone knows that about disability. You're going to lose 2 or 3 times before you can win. So people lose, they file for disability, they have their doctors, all their stuff, and then disability denies them. Their default is to deny everybody. So they deny everybody, and then you could be blind, you could have no legs, you could be missing a hand, a lot of things. You could just have psychological issues, not just, but psychological issues are real. I have psychological issues. I think a lot of people had psychological issues after COVID. Me, I don't think so much with COVID. I thought it was hilarious myself because I was prepared. I didn't have any. I was prepared for whatever. I got sick. I made myself better, whatever. I used natural stuff. I didn't use anything that Trump mentioned. I used natural stuff from the Northwest of the United States, traditional medicine. Still works. Anyhow, so a lot of people have disabilities. A lot of people that have disabilities are being targeted by the police, the state, the county, the government, the constables, the APD, Austin Police Department, Texas State Troopers. This is the stormtroopers down here. Texas State Troopers. They wear cowboy hats and boots, but they don't have any honor. We've seen them just destroy people's lives. But they all smile about it, which means they're sociopaths. And these are the same goons that were out there at the homeless camp, giving Heil Hitlers to other staff, to the Texas Department of Emergency Management, which is actually a branch of Texas A&M. They were giving Nazi salutes at the homeless camp that they were running out there on Old Bastrop Highway in Austin. That's where they forced people to go. And people were disappearing. I was there. People were disappearing. They disappeared elder people. They disappeared, disappeared. Like they told them to leave and go off into the night without anything. And then when they came back, to be in the community and to have a place where they could, they were sweeping everything. They bring them back. They bring people to say, hey, you got to go to the homeless camp. You can't be here. You're illegal. You're an illegal American, an illegal citizen. You're a citizen without your rights because you don't have enough money for an apartment in Austin, which is, you got to make, by some accounts, you have to make 10 times the earning amount as the rent. So say your rent's like $3,000 a month. You have to make $30,000 a month to qualify, which is over, I don't know how much that is a year. That's a lot. I can't count that high, but that's Well, normal people don't make that kind of money, but that's what they're doing, is they're bringing in Californians and other people that have a lot of money from other states, and they're gentrifying. Oops. They're gentrifying. Sorry, they're gentrifying the. It's noisy out here. They're gentrifying Austin to where people are forced into evictions, and once you're evicted, if you don't have family to pick you up, if there's no safety net in Austin. You go to the streets and now you're an illegal just because you got cancer, just because you broke your leg, just because you have a mental health episode, just because your family is poor or your family doesn't talk to you anymore. Maybe there's disagreements in families. That happens all the time in all classes where people don't get along with each other, usually over money. So there's rich people's kids on the streets in Austin. I've known some. And, usually they're okay once their parents go, unless there's a fight between the siblings, and then that's a whole different thing. But it's always a battle. And so it's freezing. It was, I don't know how cold it was. I saw ice last night, water that turned into ice. Not really thick, but it was ice. So that means it was below 32. That means it's going to be, and it's supposed to be cold tonight. It's supposed to be like a cold front came through here. I haven't really been following the weather that closely. I know I should, because I'm kind of a member of the weather team, but the Austin Media Weather Team, since I do a lot of weather work. Anyhow, so I don't even know what to say. My friends are dying out here. My friends have died while I've documented the city's abuse and the police's abuse. And now we're talking about TxDOT, the Texas Department of Transportation, working with CG Environmental. There's contractors. Sometimes I work with EPSI. EPSI is because they didn't like me filming what they were doing when they were stealing from the homeless a few years ago. They were grabbing their crotch, flipping me off, throwing bottles at me, all sorts of stuff, threatening me, coming at me with their tools, with their rakes. They came at me like they were going to attack me, which, whatever. That'd be the last thing. Yeah, that'd be probably the last thing they would, yeah. Anyhow, so, this is the kind of bullies, punks that are killing people, and they turn into sociopaths. They take a normal person like you or me, and they say, hey, go fuck people up right here under this bridge. Go fuck them up. And then we're going to go somewhere. Let's fuck up 1,000 people a day and displace them and steal their stuff, steal their belongings, steal their everything to keep them warm, and let them die tonight in the freeze. Let them get hypothermia and die. One of my friends, Alan, he did die on the streets. Well, he died under a bridge behind 7-Eleven, down near the jail, kind of not too far, like half a mile from the jail, I'd say. That's where he lived. He was an old dude, old man, elder. He had some disabilities. All he really did was drink, smoke a little weed. That's all. But he died, and it wasn't from drinking, which we thought he was going to die of drinking. Guess what he died from? Negligent homicide. He died because the city wouldn't give him shelters and support and help him off the street, give him a home. The city let him die in the cold at night. They think just because they have a cold weather shelter that everyone can get to it. Alan couldn't really move that far. He was disabled. He also had an addiction, which is a disability. An addiction is a medical issue, and it takes treatment. It takes a lot of care to get someone, back in shape to where they're functioning members of society. And everyone that we've lost is a functioning member of society, potentially, that the city just dumped on. My friends tell me that this right here, which we don't really see what's going on because they seem to be on break or they're back in the woods or whatever. I don't know if the whole crew's up here or not, just the supervisors. But I don't see DPS right now. I feel like I need to move, find DPS, see what they're up to. But they were here, the state troopers, and their suburban, gas-guzzling Suburbans, spending millions and billions of dollars over here. But now I got off track again. But I got a lot on my mind, y'all. I got a lot on my mind, and this just plagues me. The fact that this still goes on and that none of y'all care, and all these nonprofits that are bragging about the cold weather shelters got pizza now, and they're 2 degrees. They were at 32, now they're at 30, 35. They're 3 degrees higher trigger, so if it's 35 degrees, people can go to the cold weather shelter and abandon their camps and property and expect the city and the state to leave their stuff alone. Apparently not. They're still sweeping, even though they've got emergency cold weather shelters for emergency weather. They're still sweeping, still stealing. Like that trailer there is full. I don't know if you can see that trailer on the right. The trailer looks full from here. I see stuff over the top of the trailer. And then there's a dump truck over there, I believe. So like they're full of people's belongings. Where those belongings, that Marine he's battling cancer under the bridge, doesn't have disability or help, and he's the one that helps everybody. He's a older Marine. I actually didn't meet him. I just have the description through Weather. But he wasn't there, and he took all his stuff, and he thought his stuff was going to be safe for whatever reason. Either the police or told him that, or he felt like he was far enough hidden away, and all he had was, just like a sleeping bag and just stuff to stay warm and like not sleep on the concrete, basically, because if you sleep on the concrete, it's super hard on your body and it wears you down and you become crippled. I mean, disabled, even worse, or there's just not just pressure points. The lime, what I'm told from the streets, is that the lime and whatever they put in the concrete out here, it pulls minerals out of your body or does something to your body. I think it could be just really alkaline, and it could cause like caustic effects, just like chemical effects to your body and your tissues. But it causes pain, even if none of that's going on. It causes pressure points and nerve points and pain. And if you think about your comfortable bed and you just think about replacing that bed with a slab of cold concrete, that's what people suffer. The street angels, I call them. That's what the people of Austin have to suffer when they get evicted. And there's no protections from evictions. The eviction courts are all corrupt. The judges are all corrupt. I know, I've been through that process. The cops are corrupt. Like, they're looking for victims, and you'll be next if you allow this to continue. Oh, I know what I was saying. It's all the nonprofits, including the Challenger newspaper and Valerie Romness, who continually says harmful things and acts like and gatekeeps information from the elites that she talks to. When she cuts their hair, she tells us about it, but it's all a secret. I just leak little information. So I didn't leak any information, but about Dusterhoff to City Council. I told him in no uncertain terms that Dusterhoff was a criminal cop and what he was doing, and then he got fired. It wasn't because of anything I did, but I wasn't gonna spill the beans, Valerie. Spill the beans, all you nonprofits. How are you taking money from the city and commending the city for giving pizza out at the cold weather shelters and for raising the temperature and opening a cold weather shelter? It doesn't matter. People aren't going there. People are at their camps, or they're trying to work. They're trying to do their things, get food, do the things that they have to do to survive, contact their family, all the things they're trying to do, their friends. People are running around doing their things, and the city or they could be at the cold weather shelter that you applaud, and then the government's down here stealing their property. Still, there's no, and then y'all are silent about it. You're two-faced. The homeless industrial complex, all of y'all, including the director of the Challenger and anyone else on the payroll, is taking advantage of the poor. And writers like me don't get paid by the Challenger unless we sell papers. Nobody's reading the paper because they're not telling the whole truth about what's going on. This is what's going on. Sweeps, harm, targeting, constant abuse, rapes, murders, and worse. Human trafficking, All of that's going on by nonprofits and the city and the police. They're all involved at some level. They're all culpable as accessories to crimes, capital crimes, human rights crimes. Does anybody care about anybody anymore? Does anybody care about anybody? What if it was your family members on the street? I know an attorney that has a brother out here on the street that has what's called undiagnosed, or what she called undiagnosed mental health issues. This is what's happening. I know a man that considers himself a lawyer on the streets, knows more about the law than I do. He's not far from here. He bows to the police. I know electricians and musicians and so many people out here. And there's more and more every day. It's from evictions. It's from the evictions. Evictions had a temporary moratorium by the city, county, something during COVID, because people were getting behind on their bills because they couldn't go to work because the COVID shutdowns of non-essential businesses. So people, it affected all of us. Remember the essential personnel and all that. So people got, when they raised the moratorium, people were so far behind that they got evicted, and there weren't very many ways to get help. And the ways to get help were all tied up and cumbersome, and they only helped a few people. In reality, thousands of people went on, tens of thousands of people in Austin got evicted, and now they're targets of the police and of these contractors and of TxDOT and multiple agencies. Multiple agencies do this every week. What we need is rehabilitation services. What we need is respite services. We need all the medical and mental health and dental and all of that. We need all of that, and we need it to come to us, basically, because it's not working the way that the city and county are doing it. And the way that the state has billions and trillions of dollars that they do, and the city has billions and billions of dollars every year that they blow. It's not like there's a lack of money. It's not like there's a lack of housing. It's not like there's a lack of anything except for heart and caring. Nobody seems to give a shit. And that's what really upsets me, is that y'all aren't doing anything. If y'all want to join up with me and stop the sweeps and land back no genocide in Austin, if y'all want to stop, y'all want to work with me to just film police with my police reports, or your own. If y'all want guidance on how to form something yourself and decentralize, which I'm good with that too. And if you guys have a heart for people of color, people of disability, people maybe not like you, or hopefully like you, if you're worried about your fellow man and woman and non-binaries and queer and everybody else, if you're concerned about people and want people to be the best life, and you want to have a healthy America, strong America, where we have a lot of viable economy and viable people, and we don't have burdens, each one of these people is not a burden if you get them on their feet and help them survive. But every one of these nonprofits that I've dealt with, including Mobile Loaves and Fishes, they don't help people get on their feet. They just use people as a commodity. Homeless people are just a commodity for people to make money off of, and all these nonprofits, the Other Ones Foundation, the Challenger newspaper, all of these nonprofits are profiting off of our loss. They're profiting off of people suffering. They're profiting off death. And that's just not right. It's not right. Why do you think that people are in housing and shelter spaces and they have to still go out and fly a sign or spange for money on the streets? Why do you think that is? Or even steal? Why do you think that is? What makes someone beg or steal or cheat or lie. Well, let's just say beg or steal. Let's stay there. It's because there's a lack. There's someone gatekeeping the money, somebody gatekeeping everything. There goes the security company. They better not talk to me. I'm not in the mood. They probably will, though. But, no, they're just going to go check on their property. Okay, good. There's a big old parking lot. Lots of people sit in their cars or whatnot. Anyhow, lots of people hanging out nowadays. Anyhow, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you have a heart or not? Are you going to be like the rest of these clowns and just do nothing? You just give me a do nothing. Just going back to work, doing nothing. Support my work. Join with me. Create your own. Do something. And please, please, please remember to always film the police and never trust the police. They're not your friends. They've been trained to be your enemy. They've been trained that you and everybody else is a criminal. They've declared war on the people from the streets on up, including you. You just may not know it yet, but you're a victim of police because they take your money and they use it to kill people. So just through taxes, you're a victim of the police. Just through the misuse of the power of the people, the authority of the people that authorizes this stuff. You know, they don't tell us what they're doing. It's all hidden. That's why they keep arresting me for doing this work right here. I've been arrested multiple times for doing this work right here. Usually when I'm closer, and that's why I'm not so close. You're probably wondering why I'm not catching the action. I think there's no action. I haven't seen anybody moving around or bringing anything out. Sometimes they drive back up under this bridge even further to the right, which you can't see from here. And then I'd have to maneuver to get a good shot of that. But I don't think they're doing anything. I think they might be on lunch. Usually DPS and TxDOT doesn't take a lunch. The city will take a lunch at different times around noon. But the DPS, I've seen them, the contractor CG Environmental with DPS eating pizza off the tailgate in the homeless camp that they just destroyed while they've sent everybody running for their lives without anything. So that money that they're eating, the money for that pizza goes to them, not to the people who are marginalized and oppressed, not the people attacked. And I don't know if you remember this, but the country that you live in, the United States of America, was founded through colonies of people leaving Europe, European colonists, settlers, whatever, leaving Europe to come take land that wasn't theirs, come settle on land that wasn't theirs because they were being oppressed in their home countries like this. This is what people left. This is the foundation of what started the United States, is people leaving this type of oppression, where wealthy kings and sheriffs come and tax collectors come after you and your property, rape your wife, rape your kids, kill your dog, steal your pigs and your chickens and whatever gold, whatever they want to steal. That's old England. That's the Robin Hood story. You know, that's what we already know. We already know what they did. And worse, it was really bad. They would ride up on their horses and cut your head off if you didn't like it. It's kind of like this right here. This is the modern version, murder by the numbers. They've got words for everything. Voluntary compliance. It's just a cleanup. It's a sweep. You know, we're not taking anything. Yes, they do. Don't film us. Yes, I will. They arrest me and threaten to arrest me so many times. Hundreds of times I've been threatened to be arrested, and I've been arrested. And well, let's say I've had over 24 charges and tickets, I believe, at last count. I'd be ticketed by APD, arrested by APD. I've been arrested by DPS. I've been arrested by both of them for covering sweeps or protesting what's going on. Yeah, we had lawyers. Yeah, we got out of jail. It was not that big a deal, I guess. But sometimes it is. Sometimes they just sneak up on you. They create a warrant and sneak up on you for filming. Sometimes they put a work zone around you. They put cones and no trespassing signs right around you, and then like tell you that you're illegal, you're a criminal for filming, and they're going to arrest you. That's happened many, many times. Sometimes they just come towards you and tell the cops to come and get you. Just because they want to hide this from the public. This right here, you're not supposed to see. And this isn't even all of it. This is just text.cg environmental, and DPS was here. I'm gonna go to this other site, and I'll check in with y'all in a minute. All right, I'll show you. I think there might be something going on. So right here, there were people with carts running away from this area when I got here. That's how I knew that there was police activity. So you can see signs of sweeps, and this is Menchaca and White. So you can see signs of sweeps and and that led me a couple blocks down the road to where the sweeps were occurring, and we're gonna go check in.